Okay. We failed so many times, but today's the day. This week will be different. Let's go. If you clicked on this video, chances are you're trying to be in a calorie deficit as well. I've tried so many times to lose weight and I knew a calorie deficit was necessary. I just couldn't stick to one. Comment down below if this sounds familiar. You have constant hunger, constant food cravings, then you cheat on your diet, give up, restart next week. That was me over and over and over again. I realized that I was making the calorie deficit much harder, and once I fixed that, everything became a lot more easier. So in this video, I'll share with you what I changed that finally helped me lose 70 plus pounds. First, let's understand my old mindset. Just like anyone, I tried to lose the weight as fast as possible. I'm talking about more than 2 pounds per week because I was sick of it. I was sick of looking in the mirror and being fat, out of shape. I didn't have any respect for myself. People didn't respect me. They were rude to me because of how I looked, and I was done. So just like any new person, new to dieting, I restricted food too much. I ate too little, and I gave up the foods that I love. And for days, weeks, and months, I would just rely on willpower. And as we all know, eventually you'll run out of willpower. And it wasn't fun for me anymore. It wasn't sustainable. I gave up. It was a constant trial and error, and I kept looking for an answer, looking for a way to make this easier, to make it work. Chapter 2. So as I did my research and eventually finding out that you need a calorie deficit to lose weight, it's a requirement, non-negotiable. I fell into the common traps of finding this out. So what did I do? I thought having a bigger deficit was better. Little did I know, and what I failed to realize was it was something that was very hard to maintain, especially with someone who had little experience with dieting. Yes, you want to lose the weight as fast as possible, but can you sustain it? It is so much easier and simpler to lose the weight at a steady pace that you know you can be consistent every single day. Because when you become aggressive with it, you put your body in a higher form of stress, and it will send you signals, and you will crave food more, which will lead you to binge eating and eventually starting from zero. The goal here is to stick to a calorie deficit that's sustainable for you, and that will help you keep the weight off long term. So chapter 3, how do you make a calorie deficit not feel like a calorie deficit? In this section, I just want to focus on 3 things. Number 1, you want to focus on your protein. If you do the research, it's around 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. You don't really need that much protein, just enough to maintain your muscle mass while your body strips off the fat. Protein also makes you fuller. It's more satiating. And I've also learned that your body tends to expend more energy just to burn off the protein, or they call it the thermic effect of food. Number 2, you also wanna eat more fiber. Fiber will slow down your digestion, and it will keep you fuller for longer until your next meal. You can usually find this in vegetables, oats, but for me personally, I like buying this keto version of bread that has a lot of fiber, and it keeps me full for hours. Number 3, also include high volume, low calorie foods. This will take up more space in your stomach, and it will also keep you full. And once you include enough of these foods, it won't even feel like you're dieting. You're tracking, yes, but it doesn't feel like you're eating less food. So what are examples of this? My favorite, potatoes. People also love sweet potatoes, yogurt, salad, excluding the high calorie dressing. That's different. You need to find a substitute for that. And also for protein sources, I personally like chicken breast, eggs, and anything with protein in it. For dessert, I like protein bars. I like beef, steak. You have to find the food that is healthy for you, but also the food that you love, you enjoy. Because if you keep eating food that is good for you but you don't enjoy, you're not gonna stick to the calorie deficit. Might as well give up. That's how I was able to be consistent on my diet for months. So chapter 4, focus on consistency, not perfection. This is where I went wrong so many times. Have you ever had that all or nothing mindset where you lost all willpower and you have one cheat meal and you think you ruined everything? So you just said, screw it, I'll start next week. That's how I used to be every single time. And I know I'm not alone. The reality is, having one cheat meal doesn't really ruin anything. Cheating on your diet every single day will ruin your progress. By the way, if you do have a day where you have a cheat meal, don't punish yourself the next day, because what you're going to do is you're gonna develop eating disorder called the binge and restrict cycle, or yo-yo dieting, and eventually that will stress you out and make you give up. It's much better after a slip up, just get back on track, just go back to your usual calories and act like nothing happened. If it happened once, that's okay. Just make sure it doesn't happen twice, because that's where it starts to become a habit, because eventually you will reach your goal and you don't need to be perfect to get there. So chapter 5, willpower. Speaking of willpower, this is something I relied on heavily when I first started dieting, and I quickly realized willpower runs out. It isn't something you should rely on. This isn't something that will keep you on track with your diet every single time. I learned that you have to fix your environment. Make it easier for yourself, especially when you tend to be tempted, when you have food noise, food cravings all the time. What you need to do is fix your surroundings. Throw away the junk food. Don't buy junk food or your trigger foods. When you go to the grocery store, make a grocery list. Have foods that you are ready to eat, that are healthy for you, ready to buy, so you won't waste a single second in the grocery store looking at food that you know you shouldn't eat. Also, very underrated, people tend to decide what to eat on the spot, and what that causes is decision fatigue. They get tired of trying to decide what they want to eat every single day, and as humans, we tend to go for the easier one, the easier choice. If you had the choice to cook this very complicated meal that's healthy for you and something that you want to eat but you know is unhealthy, more times out of 10 people will tend to eat that unhealthy food because it's already there. It's already made and ready for you to eat and consume. So what I recommend is have a meal plan, because this is what I've been doing, and this is something you don't need to think about because it's already planned. All you have to do is stick to it. You can even cook it in advance and track it in advance, so that all you have to do is eat it when it's time. That's when I do when I'm at home. I already cook my breakfast, lunch, dinner in advance, so I'm already ready for consuming it. I also do this when I'm at work, especially when you're at work, when your coworkers tend to bring unhealthy foods like donuts, cookies, or maybe one of your coworkers had a birthday or want to celebrate. They will order food and you'll get tempted every single time. Always bring your own meals to work. When you know there's temptation in a certain area, it's best to prepare. When you don't have a plan, that's when you tend to falter. Chapter 6. So after talking about my mistakes and what I learned, here is what I actually do now to stick to a calorie deficit. First, just have a small to moderate calorie deficit, anywhere from 300 to 500 minus your maintenance. I learned when you do this, you don't spike your hunger hormones like your ghrelin and the stress hormone cortisol as much. It is easier to stick to a calorie deficit when you go slow and steady. Like they said, slow and steady wins the race. And like I said, I prioritize protein, fiber, and high volume, low calorie foods. It keeps me fuller for longer, and it doesn't even feel like I'm dieting. And honestly, that's the goal. Enjoying the process while getting the body of your dreams. Next, don't give up the foods that you love. Honestly, for me, there are two ways to go around this. Number one is find a substitute. So let's say you like high or full sugar sodas. I made a switch. I switched it to zero sugar sodas. They taste the same and you can drink more of it without getting fat. It's like a cheat code. Or another example is I like to eat pizzas, and when I go to the grocery store, I have this high protein, low calorie option that I always buy, and it helps me stay on track. Now, if the foods that you enjoy are very unhealthy for you, ultra processed, and you want to eat those still, you have to learn about calorie portion. Yes, you can eat that, but you know you can't eat all of it. Make sure you eat lesser quantity, and that gives you a better chance of sticking to your calorie deficit. Like I said, focus on consistency, not perfection. I have times where I have slipped up. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm perfect. I am not, and you're not too. So be forgiving to yourself. And the most important thing here is you keep going, keep moving forward, even if you stumble, and eventually you'll get to your goal. Don't stop, keep going, and we'll both get there. Just to add some quick key takeaways, my old mindset focused more on how little can I eat to lose the weight as fast as possible. But now I focus more on how much food can I eat and be satisfied while still being in a calorie deficit. And lastly, I make sure that my diet is sustainable and realistic. And I gave up trying to be aggressive with it because I realized time will pass anyway. And I know to myself, as long as I'm consistent and stick to my plan, I'll eventually get there. Now my question is, are you ready to do the same? Guys, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And if you're interested in 5 calorie deficit mistakes that you need to avoid, click here. See you next time.